I'm not a quitter. Yeah, you might have to drag me off in an ambulance, which has happened, but I'm not a quitter. I started riding bikes pretty late in life. I was 29 years old because I wanted to do triathlons. It was all the rage. And one of my friends told me I could never be a cyclist. So I thought, well, that's a pretty good challenge. And so I won a few state championships. I was having a lot of fun. Then everybody said, well, Joe, you're a time trialist, but you can't climb and you can't do that. So I went and won a couple KOMs, won a few stage races. And then I was looking through a Velo magazine one day and I saw this crazy race called Race Across America. And I'm thinking, oh, that's just nuts. But then I looked at the average speed and it's like the winning teams are only doing like 22, 23 miles an hour. And it's like, I'm doing 30 miles an hour on my time trial, so I could slow down to 25. And so I got three of my buddies together and we had an awesome team put together. But none of us had ever done ultra cycling before. This was all new, but it was exciting. So we went into it with all kinds of expectations. We knew what the record was, and we actually eclipsed the record by about 2 hours, but so did the three teams in front of us, and we finished fourth. We had a lot to learn. Fueling, length of poles, training. I mean, there's a lot involved in doing ultra cycling. So very next year, we won our first Race Across America. The year after that, we actually won and set the record. And the year after that, we won again, so 3 years in a row. We repeated for overall winners of Race Across America. So I kind of found a niche, and I was having a lot of fun doing different races, a lot of 500-mile races, a lot of 3,000-mile races. You learn as you go. And I learned that I was one of the few riders that could actually do a race of that length, gain weight, lose body fat, and actually come out stronger on the other end. And some of that is genetic predisposition, who knows? But it just worked for me. So I've done 4-man, I've done 2-man, I've done 4 tandem, I've done 8 tandem. In 2018, we put together a 4-man mixed team to do Race Across America. We trained good, we had a decent team. We got together. I found out very soon that apparently I was the climber on the team. So I was doing a lot of heavy-duty climbing, and so I spent a lot of time climbing the year before. So I was ready for this, but halfway up the Rockies, I ruptured a tendon in my left ankle. My left ankle had been completely rebuilt about 12 years earlier because I pulled the foot out of the socket and bent it backwards, and they had to screw it back together. So the ankle was already kind of compromised anyway, and there were broken screws inside it. I thought maybe just one of the screws had snapped, maybe the bones had moved or something, but turned out I had ruptured the tendon. Well, I continued racing for the next 1,800 miles and finished. I did good. I just had to modify my pedal stroke, dominating with the right side and modifying the pressure to the left. But yeah, I had the fastest leg of any rider from any team for the last 13 miles. It was great until I got off the bike, and then I couldn't hardly walk. And so by the time I got back home, I had to go see an orthopedic surgeon, and they did an MRI, and nobody here wanted to touch it, so they sent me with one of the world's most renowned ankle specialists who practically wrote the medical books on ankle surgery. And we had a long conversation, and he goes, Joe, he says, what exactly do you expect out of this surgery? I said, well, I'm only 60 years old. I said, I've got a few more records I'd like to set. If you could put me back together and let me do what I love to do. And he looked at me and he mumbled something. I didn't hear what it was. And he turned around and walked out of the room. And then he turned around and he came back. He goes, Joe, he says, I think we can set a few records. I thought, I got my guy. So they went in and they had to completely clean it out. It was so full of scar tissue. The tendon was ruptured, not salvageable at all. So they had to remove the tendon. So I only have the one tendon. The longest tendon is the one that they removed from my leg. Went through a series of casts and boots for about 4 months. Got healed up just enough to start riding again. And I went to the World Championships and managed to win that with my partner, Frankie Torres. We set a new 40-plus record for the 12-hour, and we actually broke the overall record by, I believe, 10 miles. So it's been an interesting comeback. Apparently I have a few more miles left in these legs, and I'm going to see how far I can take it.